The vast expanse of the Great Plains, stretching from the Rocky Mountains to the eastern territories of the United States and Canada, has long been home to diverse indigenous tribes, each with its own rich traditions and distinct ways of life. Among these tribes, the Comanche emerged as one of the most influential and formidable groups in history. Their homeland, Comancheria, encompassed a sweeping area that today includes parts of north-central Texas, eastern New Mexico, southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas, and western Oklahoma. Originally, the Comanche were part of the Eastern Shawnee people, residing primarily in the rugged terrain of what is now Wyoming. Living as nomads and hunters, they sustained themselves through a lifestyle reminiscent of ancient forager. This existence, while rooted in simplicity, was fundamentally transformed with the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors in the Americas during the 1500s. The introduction of horses by the Spanish proved revolutionary, forever altering the dynamics of life on the plains. Recognizing the tactical advantages of horses, the Comanche rapidly integrated these animals into their culture, gaining unprecedented mobility and power. Around the mid-1600s, they began a significant migration southward from Wyoming to the Central Plains and eventually into Comancheria. This migration was driven not only by the search for new hunting grounds, but also by a desire to escape conflicts and seek dominance over fertile territories teeming with buffalo. The horse became a central pillar of Comanche society, symbolizing wealth, status, and survival. As expert horsemen, they developed unparalleled skills in mounted warfare and buffalo hunting. The availability of buffalo, a staple for food, clothing, and tools, allowed the Comanche population to grow rapidly. Their mastery of horseback combat, combined with a strategic and warlike ethos, soon made them a dominant force on the plains, striking fear into neighboring tribes and European settlers alike. By the late 1600s, the Comanche had firmly established themselves as a distinct and powerful tribe. Their ability to adapt and thrive in a constantly shifting landscape set the stage for their rise as one of the most formidable indigenous nations in North America, a reputation that would define their interactions with both neighboring tribes and colonial powers in the centuries to come. With their southward migration complete, the Comanche solidified their control over a vast territory that came to be known as Comancheria. This region, rich in natural resources and strategically positioned, became the heart of their empire. The Comanches' ability to dominate this territory was rooted in their exceptional horsemanship and their adaptability to the plains environment. Buffalo herds roamed the plains in abundance, providing the Comanche with sustenance and resources that supported their expanding population. Buffalo meat was a dietary staple, while hides were used for clothing, shelter, and trade. The Comanches' efficient hunting methods, enabled by horses, allowed them to exploit these resources to their fullest potential, reinforcing their dominance over the land. The Comanches' reputation as fierce warriors was central to their expansion. They engaged in frequent conflicts with neighboring tribes, such as the Apache, whom they ultimately displaced from the southern plains. Their success in battle stemmed not only from their superior mobility, but also from their tactical innovations. The Comanche were known for their devastating night raids, often timed during full moons to maximize visibility. These raids, later termed Comanche Moon by European settlers, targeted horses, weapons, and captives, further strengthening their position. Unlike some other tribes, the Comanche did not unite under a single centralized political structure. Instead, they were organized into independent bands, each pursuing its own economic and political interests. Despite this decentralization, they shared a common language and cultural practices, which fostered a sense of unity when facing external threats. This flexible structure allowed them to adapt quickly to changing circumstances, making them a formidable and unpredictable adversary. Trade also played a vital role in the Comanches' expansion. They became key suppliers of horses, trading with both French and American settlers. Their expertise in horse breeding and taming earned them a reputation as some of the best horse traders in North America. This trade network not only brought wealth, but also established the Comanche as an indispensable force in the regional economy. By the 18th century, Comancheria was a sprawling domain that spanned thousands of square miles. The Comanches' dominance over this territory was a testament to their ingenuity, resilience, and ability to adapt to the dynamic landscape of the Great Plain. However, their expansion and success also brought them into direct conflict with colonial powers and settler societies, setting the stage for decades of struggle. The Comanches' rise to power on the plains was accompanied by a culture deeply rooted in warfare and survival. As their territory expanded, so too did their reputation as relentless warriors and skilled horsemen. Their combat tactics, honed over generations, were unmatched in their precision and ferocity. The Comanches' conflicts with the Apache are among the most legendary in the history of the Great Plains. These battles, characterized by their intensity and duration, ultimately resulted in the displacement of the Apache from key areas of the plains. Historical accounts describe protracted engagements, such as the 9-day battle in northwestern Texas during the late 18th century, as emblematic of the Comanches' determination and military prowess. Capturing horses and people was a central aspect of Comanche warfare. Horses symbolized wealth and power, while captives were often used as slaves or commodities for trade. The Comanches' treatment of captives was notoriously harsh, reflecting the brutal realities of survival and dominance in their world. These practices, while controversial, were integral to their economy and culture. The Comanches' burial customs provide a glimpse into their spiritual beliefs and values. Traditionally, the deceased were wrapped in blankets and transported on horseback to a secluded burial site, such as a cave. Upon return, the family would burn the deceased's belongings, signifying a break from the physical world and the journey to the afterlife. These customs, deeply rooted in their spiritual worldview, persisted until Christian missionaries introduced new burial practices in the 19th century. Despite their decentralized structure, the Comanche maintained a strong sense of cultural identity. Their shared language and traditions, coupled with their adaptability and resilience, allowed them to thrive in an environment marked by constant conflict and change. However, the Comanches' reliance on buffalo and their resistance to external pressures would soon bring them into direct conflict with the expanding United States. The 19th century brought immense challenges for the Comanche, as their once mighty territory, Comancheria, faced relentless external pressures. Epidemics of smallpox, cholera, and measles between 1817 and 1849 devastated their population, reducing their numbers from 20,000 to less than 7,000. These diseases, introduced by Europeans, weakened the Comanche both socially and politically. Simultaneously, the expansion of settlers, backed by U.S. government policies, encroached on Comanche lands. Treaties often promised land and resources, but were routinely broken, leaving the Comanche vulnerable. The destruction of the buffalo herds, their primary source of sustenance, further eroded their way of life. Encouraged by government policies, hunters decimated the herds by the 1870s, pushing the Comanche into a survival crisis. In 1874, the Second Battle of Adobe Walls marked their desperate resistance. Despite a valiant effort by Comanche warriors to protect their territory, they were defeated, prompting the Red River War. The U.S. Army's campaign used scorched earth tactics to dismantle Comanche resistance. By May 1875, the last free Comanche band, led by Quanah Parker, surrendered and relocated to the Fort Sill Reservation in Indian Territory. This surrender signaled the collapse of Comancheria, the loss of their lands, and an end to their nomadic lifestyle. Despite the immense challenges of colonization and forced relocation, the Comanche have preserved their cultural heritage and identity. Today, the Comanche nation actively honors its traditions while navigating the modern world. Annual gatherings and powwows celebrate their history with traditional dances, storytelling, and ceremonies. These events connect generations and reinforce their cultural value. Efforts to revitalize the Comanche language, including educational programs, have further strengthened their identity, safeguarding this vital part of their heritage. Economic development has also played a crucial role in the modern Comanche nation. Investments in enterprises such as gaming, cultural tourism, and agriculture have provided financial stability and opportunities for community growth. These efforts allow the Comanche to assert their sovereignty and ensure their continued resilience. The Comanche's influence extends beyond their own community. Their story of adaptability and perseverance inspires other indigenous groups and highlights the complexities of Native American history. As advocates for environmental conservation and cultural preservation, the Comanche contribute to broader discussions on sustainability and representation. Today, the Comanche Nation is headquartered in Oklahoma, with members spread across the U.S. While their population and territory have diminished from historic heights, their spirit remains unbroken. They embody the resilience and ingenuity of their ancestors, ensuring their legacy endures as a testament to their strength and cultural richness.